I honestly think you can start a YouTube channel with any idea in mind. The question is can you stick to that idea? That's the big piece. Now, I've been on YouTube for quite a few years now, and I've noticed that I've gone into many different areas in my YouTube channel, which has resulted in slower growth than one would maybe perhaps like. But I'm experimenting with my channel, and I think that's okay. Eventually, though, what you want to do is choose one thing that you focus on your channel if you want growth. If you just want to have fun with your channel, then do anything on there. You can do anything on there. You don't even have to have a theme. Just keep creating, keep uploading, have fun with it. But if you want to treat it like a business, you do need to look at a particular niche that you can focus on. That's what's going to get you more views, more subscribers, because you come off as someone who is very specific as to what they're communicating. Because one subscriber who's watching your gaming videos might not enjoy the fact that you're talking about business the next minute. They might be discouraged. Now, you can look at several channels and notice that, hey, wait, that person's got like 5 million subscribers and they have a number of different things on their channel. A good example, and I keep bringing this up, Joe Rogan. He's got multiple things on his channel. He has cartoons on his channel. Who would have thought, right? A lot of people might not know that, but he has animated cartoons. He also does podcasting on his YouTube channel, video podcast. So he's got that. He's got 2 completely different things, all kind of wrapped up into a theme, I guess, in a sense, comedy. So it begs the question, what should your channel be about? Well, if you have quite the following, then you can maybe branch off like what Joe Rogan's done. But you probably want to focus in on one particular area and keep creating content around that area. Talk a lot about SEO and search optimization. If you really want to be known for a particular keyword, then locking yourself into a particular area is great. Now, I'm not the best at taking my own advice. So if you have a number of things that you really want to create content for, I don't see why not. Like, what's hurting your situation by creating content in a number of different areas? I don't think it's that bad. But just be aware that people might be turned off with your multiple approaches to your YouTube channel. If you really want to get that growth, locking in on one niche is really important. The more and more I do these videos, the more and more I realize I like looking at life struggles, life optimization, marketing. You know, I like talking about these things, and I think it all can kind of wrap up into what's the story, what's your story, how can I help you develop your story and develop your situation. So that's maybe like an overarching theme. What I think is really helpful to help you focus, which is maybe helping me focus, is looking at your about page on your YouTube channel and seeing if you can figure out this question. What is the purpose of your YouTube channel? If you can answer that question and put that in your about page on YouTube, I think that will help guide you, because I see that it's helping others by writing this out, by figuring out what this is for them. And it seems to be really helping them in their situation. So it might help you. So what is the purpose of your YouTube channel? If you can answer that question, I think you will be much more equipped to grow the channel. That being said, I keep going back to fun. I think fun is important. I think testing different things is important. Seeing what resonates is important. But also, what can you stick to long term? What can you do for day after day after day? If this was all that you were doing for the rest of your life, what would it be about? Right? Because when you start looking at that, well, then you might not be doing a bunch of different things. Now I'll look at my channel as a heavy criticism. I'm just going to dig into the process behind how I got to where I am now in terms of what I'm creating. I think I started off with educational tutorial videos, like screenshots, and I used my webcam, and I just recorded different things related to marketing. So I started with that. And then I thought, would I be interested in consuming this? I suppose a particular audience would. But could I do this? Could I do this long term? Could I literally be recording day after day on a screen, going through different programs and tutorials? I didn't really resonate with that. I kind of got bored of it after a while, so I just kind of stopped. And then I also did narrations for my children's books, because I thought, well, a different approach would be to narrate my books. So I have about 50 narrations on my channel, and people can check them out. But then I realized, well, if they can just watch the narrations, there's no incentive to buy the books. There's no incentive to buy anything, because I'm literally just giving it all away for free. I mean, you could literally watch me narrating my own books. And then I don't know if there's any incentive to get the digital copy. And also, there's no animation to it. It's just me going page after page. And then I felt obligated to be narrating every single week. I just felt this obligation that I needed to keep creating. Because if I didn't, well, then I would lose engagement, or people wouldn't tune in. So I don't know if I could. And then also the process of creating the book and illustrating. And the problem with that is I feel like I was rushing my creativity. So then I didn't really resonate with that. And also I didn't resonate with the audience, kids. I didn't feel like I could be engaging enough to keep the attention of kids watching this. So I kind of struggled with that, and I thought, well, a book should really be something that happens between a parent and their child, and I feel like that's a very connected moment, and I don't see how that would work on YouTube, per se. There's a lot of meaning there, that one-to-one. So it didn't really make sense having my voice narrating these books. I don't know, it just didn't feel authentic to me. So after that experiment, I decided, how can I just do this simply? Where I could wake up every day, go to the camera, and just make it really simple. And then I thought, why not talk about life, problems and solutions, and sort of have that as kind of the overarching theme. And that's where I'm at now. And I think I can keep going with this. I really do. I think I could just keep doing this for the rest of my life. Just sitting here talking day after day about a new subject that's relevant to life. And I think this could be helpful to other people as they tune in. Because someone who has a level of maturity beyond the toddlers that I was aiming for with the books, well, someone with maturity could listen to this and maybe pull some sort of connection from it, in the sense that they're also going through this issue of, how do I define my YouTube channel? And okay, this guy is also sort of hashing things out, but he's not afraid to try things. So I should try things too. Actually, even before doing these sort of one-to-one conversations, I was doing comedy videos. And I think those were great, and I was having fun and laughing, and I could probably keep doing those. But the production process was pretty extreme, to the point where most of the time was spent editing, and I didn't think really it was too innovative. And also, I can easily run out of funny ideas, right? It takes a lot of energy to be funny. There's a lot to it. And I definitely needed to be motivated to come up with that idea. So I just didn't see myself continuing with that after about 20 or 30 videos. I just couldn't keep going with it. But all this stuff is on my channel. Like, I don't want to lock it down, because if somebody wanted to browse, they could find all this. And I think that's important, because I think documenting your journey of figuring things out, I think that's part of life. And you might have a number of different things you want to talk about on your YouTube channel. Maybe give them all a try, see what resonates with you, and then when something does stick, keep going with that. Yeah, keep going with that. So what should you talk about on your YouTube channel? Well, what are you all about? What do you love doing? Why not maybe share that, right? That might be something that resonates with people. And over time, people will get engaged with your material because you're engaged with what you're doing. So I think it's all very important. I wouldn't get caught up in trends. Okay? I wouldn't get caught up in trends. Unless that's your thing. You want to talk about trends. That's your big thing. Cool. You can do a channel about that. I've seen so many different things out there of what people are creating on their channel that I think anything is possible as long as you just keep going with it. But you can't stop. You have to keep going. I'm not kidding you. If you stop, then you'll disappear and people will lose interest. But if you keep going, then you'll get some momentum, and that's really important. So think about all of that. Think about where you really want to go with all of this. But choose the niche that resonates with you and stick to it. Don't feel like you have to follow a certain path. And that's the same for anything that's popular. I know gaming's popular on YouTube and music is popular on YouTube. But how are you going to put your unique spin on it? Well, it comes down to really defining what you're all about and doing that. The best thing is probably to look at your About page and figure that out. Figure out what it is you want on your About page. That's probably your answer. Your purpose, right? Your purpose of the channel. That's going to guide you. So, hopefully this is helpful. You're going to need to look at your situation. You're going to need to dive in and self-assess what you're capable of doing time after time after time. Once you figure that out, then you'll be in a good situation to keep going. But if something doesn't resonate, something doesn't feel right, look, don't worry about affecting audiences, okay? A lot of people are really busy in their lives. So if something doesn't feel right, stop doing it. Go and do something else. Switch over. It's not the end of the world. If you feel like something's not quite right there, you can move over and do another approach on something else. Completely all right. But doing this time after time, just getting that rhythm, I think it's so important. So important. And that's what will kind of get you going. But if you feel like you're running out of ideas to talk about, then that's the time to reassess if you're in the right direction. And some things are very simple and straightforward for people. They can just keep doing that over and over again because it's natural. And I'm still trying to figure out what this is all about. And I think that's okay. I'm trying to make sense of all of this because I think That's an important journey to document. And other people, obviously, want to figure out their journey. A lot of people are starting out and they give up too soon because they never persisted. And at the end of the day, I think persistence will help you move forward. And if you need to pivot, you need to change your content approach, you need to change how you're delivering, that's totally fine. It's like a hobby, and as long as you do incremental improvements, I think that's perfectly fine. Don't get down on yourself if things don't seem quite right, or you look at your old videos and you're like, oh, that's not the best. Your first couple videos, 100, 200 videos might not even be that good. That's okay. You'll continue to improve and you'll get better and better and better. And that's totally all right. If you need to experiment and explore on your channel, do that. Eventually you will figure out what you need to do and where you need to go with it. And that is perfectly great. The journey is great. I think that's the whole part of this process on YouTube. It's creating, seeing what resonates with you. That's actually the most important thing, because then you'll be more likely to stick to it. Eventually your audience will find you, but first you need to do the things that resonate with you. If you're doing something that's not resonating with you, then it will come off very obviously. Like, this isn't what this person wants to do. I'm not getting why they're doing this. So if you can figure out what you really want to do and deliver that, someone out there will tune in. Someone out there will latch on to your mission. But yeah, get started. Play around, explore, experiment, see what connects with you. And once you get into a rhythm, then you're rocking. Then you're golden. Yeah, the consistency is actually the most important thing. Because this kind of content lives on forever. So you could tap into people for many, many generations to come. So when you think about that, well, that's pretty powerful stuff to think about. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's good enough. That's all I've got. Until next time, toodles.